Hi, I'm Firas, and welcome back to BrandBucket Academy. In this episode, we're exploring how the right name doesn't just brand a business, it can actually spark the entire idea behind it. Margot Bushnaq, founder and CEO of BrandBucket, shares how browsing for names can unlock new creativity, help you discover hidden passions, and give you the confidence to move forward with your ideas. If you're looking for that aha moment, this is the place to start. Let's get inspired. Today, we are going to talk about getting inspired with BrandBucket, the role of naming in the idea process. How can exploring brand names actually help spark new business ideas?
This is my favorite.
Okay.
Because there have actually been customers of BrandBucket who bought a name because they saw it and thought of a business that would go behind it, realized that business did not exist, and the two came together at the same time. So I think in general, if you clear your mind and don't try to force an idea, looking at something creative or just looking at a list of options out there can be just the inspiration that you need to let an idea flow and to
Yep.
let an idea come in.
Yep. Yeah. So, what does the naming process reveal about what kind of business you're building?
I think finding out which name resonates with you reveals your business personality. If you're drawn to very fun names, things that are kind of quirky or silly or even edgy, then that is your business voice, and you're going to speak to a different audience than someone who comes from a very stiff shirt, formal corporate environment.
Yep.
But if you are a stiff shirt corporate person and you find yourself gravitating to that kind of name, then you recognize that that's your voice and your strength, and you have a different set of customers that you're going to speak to.
Yeah, I've never heard the term stiff shirt. I like that.
Stuffed shirt, stiff shirt.
Yeah.
It's all about the shirt and the tie.
Yeah. Why is naming often one of the most exciting or intimidating part of launching a startup?
It's the most exciting because, especially when you're working with a team, you can't talk about your baby until your baby has a name. Even if it's just a working title, even if it's just a code name, you need something to get behind so that you can sit down and talk about it. And it can be really exhilarating when you actually find something that is just the perfect match or that you can all get behind. But it becomes frustrating when you run into either you're not good at brainstorming or everything you brainstorm is already taken and unattainable. So you could think of the perfect name, and then lo and behold, there's a competitor in your space already using that name.
Yeah.
And you have to start from scratch. Or you come up with something that is what you think is perfect, but you can't get the .com domain name for it. Somebody got it 12 years ago. Oh, hey, they're not using it. Maybe we can get it. We can't get a hold of him. And then you go back and start from scratch. And that can be a lot of ups and downs. That can be very frustrating. And that's a big reason why we built what we built, is to kind of get out of that cycle, that very frustrating cycle that can almost kill the joy of starting the business. If you just keep running into locked doors when you're at the very, very beginning part of your business, which is finding a name, then you're going to think that you're going to run into locked doors throughout the whole part of building a company.
Yeah.
You need one door open at the beginning so that you can actually move forward and build something.
Yeah. Especially working with partners, I would say, because if you're disagreement starts as early as just incubating the actual name,
Mhm.
then it just murkies the muds into thinking about what excitement would be in moving forward with the product. So definitely a very potentially intimidating portion, I would say. But yeah, that
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so next we're going to be talking about browsing for insight. What should someone look for when browsing name marketplaces like BrandBucket?
You should clear your mind, not be seeking something so specific that if you narrow your search, you have 10 results, your perfect name is not in those 10 and you leave. You should open your mind to possibility. And you should tell yourself, we're going to find 10 possible options of this type, 10 possible options of this type, and just keep going and build out until you have 100 possible options. And then go sleep. Sleep on it. Come back, look at the options and say, okay, of these 100 that I picked, which ones actually have that vibration? Which ones inspire me? And even if they have no meaning, they have no tie to your background, no tie to the product, if it somehow, if you get those entrepreneur tingles when you see the name, that's it. That's all you need. You just need that little bit of kind of like, this is super cool. Like, this is cool, done. The naming, check. Now we can move on to building.
Yeah. How can browsing help refine or validate an idea that's still forming?
That's a really good one. Knowing that most of the domain names on BrandBucket were purchased by someone else for a particular reason. If you come across something that somehow seems perfect for what you're doing, that is justification. That is almost your first validation that there's a customer out there. Because that other person that bought it 10 years ago most likely had the same or very similar idea. And you're not alone in this sea of ideas.
Yeah. The validation comes from previous intent, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. What are some signs that a name fits the idea, even if the product isn't fully built yet?
I would say the voice. If what you're building, if the audience you're envisioning is a younger audience and the voice is fun and youthful, it can be a sign that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
If you're envisioning helping people across the globe and it's just something that sounds good, that someone who speaks Spanish or Arabic or Swahili could read and understand and say, then that's a good sign that you're on the right track.
Yeah. From name to vision, how can landing on the right name shape the future vision of your brand?
Yeah, again, it's all about feeling those tingles. Sometimes there's a piece of your vision that you didn't realize was there until you see that right name. You just know that, like, hey, wait a minute, this gives a sense of adventure that I didn't realize I had. Maybe all of my travels are somehow going to come into the voice of my company, and I didn't know it yet until I saw this name that reminded me of mountains or of the ocean or something like that.
Yeah. I keep thinking of that entrepreneurial tingles.
You get it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like, it's hard to define or explain, but it just like, it clicks and then it's like, I get it. It's the eureka moment. So
Yeah.
yeah. Can the name actually inspire the business model or target audience or brand tone?
It can inspire it in the sense that it can remind you of it, but the brand tone needs to come from its founders. And the business model, needs to be logical. There needs to be a sound business model. I wouldn't say a business model can come from the name, but everything should mesh. Everything should click.
Yeah.
And
the personality needs
and you'll
run
know it
across
when you
all
see
of
it.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen examples where the name sparked the entire idea?
That I don't know, because I don't know if customers would admit that to me.
Yeah.
If every name that I've seen grow into a brand, for the founder to say that I didn't have that idea until I saw the name wouldn't be the greatest story to tell their customers.
Yeah. You did mention previously that there was that one incident where you did have a customer that actually saw the name and it inspired their business, basically, or inspired their ideation process. But
inspired the purchase. I don't quite recall if they followed through with it.
Yeah.
But the great thing about domain names is they're assets, and they can just turn around and sell it again if that flight of fancy leaves. You can. But it was fun in that moment to just be like, you know what, that's a great business. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't remember if they went through with it.
Yeah. What makes BrandBucket different from just randomly searching for available domains?
When you're searching for available domains, you're having to do the brainstorming, and you're having to type a word and go down a rabbit hole of multiple variations of that word. You've got a thesaurus open. You're looking for different things. Searching BrandBucket is taking the opposite route. It's letting ideas wash over you like pebbles, and you just pick out the pretty pebbles that you like. So you're not having to go looking for the needle in the haystack. You're just kind of wandering through the haystack till you step on the needle. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and pebbles, I guess you can identify the gem in a slab of pebbles, easier than finding a needle in a haystack. So
yeah, it's two ways to solving the same problem. One is you're actively looking, and with BrandBucket you're passively looking. You're just kind of browsing, like you're browsing through a rack of clothing until you see something that's your style.
Yeah. An interesting question. How can entrepreneurs use BrandBucket, not just to find a name, but to build confidence in their direction?
That is interesting. I think BrandBucket helps when you stumble across that perfect name. Sometimes you don't know why it's perfect, and it allows you to kind of go back into your jumble of ideas about what your idea is going to be, and it gives you clarity into kind of the pieces of the idea that really resonate with you. So something about the name can actually trigger introspection to say, okay, this is what attaches me to my idea. There's this string between me and my idea it always has to be there. That's where the passion comes from. That's where the attachment and the drive comes from. And whatever that is that connects you is what you should focus on.
Great. Inspiration in action. What's one tip for using BrandBucket as a source of creative momentum?
Give yourself an evening. Sit down with a glass of whatever you like to sit down with and just give it time. Go through, browse, look in different directions, write down your favorites, mark your favorites on the website itself, and then go back to it the next day and ask yourself, of all the things that I wrote down that I kind of liked, what ties them all together? What is it that I may be unconsciously seeking as a name for my business?
Interesting. This leads into the next question that I have for you, which, how do you recommend people stay open while browsing without falling into analysis paralysis? And I guess maybe what I heard you answer the first time is spend that evening, swipe right constantly. Do not try to be analytical. Just see what resonates.
Yeah, you're not finding one, you're finding 100.
Yep.
And you need to sit with that 100 and figure out, what is it that I'm really seeking? Why did these 100, resonate with me?
Yep.
And somewhere in there is the one.
Yep. So the next day, you go back and become more analytical. In the first pass, you're a little bit less analytical and more emotional driven.
Exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't stop with every name and say, okay, this feels right, but why? It just feels right. That's it. Just stop there. It feels right. Next.
Yep.
Go on. Like you said, swipe right. You're swiping right on your future name.
Yeah. Okay. The last question for you, and this one is very interesting, and at the same time, I think it's a lot of founders will probably find very, very useful. For founders still searching for that spark, how can BrandBucket help them find it?
Again, I think it helps pull out the unconscious passion. It helps you, if you know that you have an idea, but you don't know why you're particularly tied to this idea, sometimes seeing not necessarily the right name, but a good name, even if it's a name that tells you why you don't like the name. I don't like the name because it doesn't convey X. It can really help hone in your why. Like, why are you doing this? What is it about this idea that you're trying to build that, what about it is you? What makes you the right person to bring this idea forward?
Yeah. That's great. Well, I guess that concludes our segment on ideation and inspiration with BrandBucket. So thank you for your time, and
Thank you.
we'll take it on the next one. Sometimes the perfect business idea is just waiting behind that right name. Head over to brandbucket.com and explore thousands of curated premium domain names to spark your next big idea, or take the one you've been thinking about to the next level. Don't wait for inspiration. Go find it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.